guilty is he if what he says is true, that he was just threatened with his life if they, if he didn't do what they said? Larry Levine has some insight on how tough or easy it is to coerce a guard to help bust out. He's a former inmate, founder of Wall Street Prison Consultants, and author of the book, Prison Politics 101, Mastering the Art of Survival. All right, Larry, how hard is it to coerce a guard?
In my book, I teach inmates how to coerce guards, and I sent a copy of it into Puff Daddy and Luigi, and the DOJ, the BOP banned it. I have personally seen at several institutions where a lot of times it's like healthcare workers. They go into a room alone with the inmates, so women and men, or who knows, maybe it's men and men, but they go into a room and they become friends and they become intimate with each other. And the staff, they're people too. They need money, they need loving, and the inmates are real good at manipulating. Let's look at Joyce Mitchell. I predicted back when that all went down, Dr. Drew Pinsky called me Nostradamus because I predicted what she would look like, what her position with the inmates would be, and what had happened. And when you get an older woman who's overweight, not really attractive, when they're on the inside working, the inmates, they kind of treat them like they're a princess, and they can manipulate them, or they'll offer staff money, they'll offer staff vacations. Inmates will offer staff all kinds of things to get what they want.
So this woman, Joyce, as you mentioned, she was the Escape from Dannemora star, connection. I think she was the seamstress who some of these, the two inmates were able to coerce through love to help break them out, saying, I think that we'll get together on the outside. Meanwhile, she's married, at home. There's another, Casey White and Vicky White story. It seemed very similar, right? Like, Vicky White is, wooed by Casey White. She breaks him out. She ends up dead. He still professes his love for her, whatever. But what about the other side of it? Those were coercion to voluntarily, to help. What about a guy like this who's threatened? His life is threatened, he says. How often does that happen?
He had ample opportunity to pull back, call in sick, report these inmates. When I first heard the story, I thought this happened spur of the moment, where they threatened him, held a knife up to his throat. Now I'm finding out, well, this was a planned thing. And I'm curious, how did the inmates know what was behind that toilet? That if they just moved it aside, they could get out? So this guy probably fed them information. And I wouldn't be surprised if that comes out in the future. And I mean, he can profess his innocence. I wouldn't be surprised right now if they're looking at his bank accounts, his family's bank accounts, to see if there was any strange deposits or anything that went in.
Well, I'll tell you what, I saw Shawshank, so I know behind every toilet you can get out. Larry, thanks for being here tonight. I always love seeing you. Thank you.
Okay, Ash, be good.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.